Greetings. Welcome to the Mid-Missouri Kayak and Weather Report for February 2022. On Tuesday, February 15th at 12:45, the temperature is 63 degrees with a predicted high of 67, I believe. 67, yes, by 3 o'clock. We had close to 50 the past couple of days. Had some colder days before that. We've got some colder days coming. Tomorrow's going to be a similar high, then down into the 30s. And Thursday, high of 35. They were predicting freezing rain. Now they're saying a potential of snow. So, of course, we'll have those frozen roads first before the snow falls. And up and down between 40s and back into the 60s until next Tuesday when it drops into the 30s again, and then back up into the high 40s. I'm on the Moreau River. I launched at the Moreau 50 access that is next to the bridge on US 50 that crosses the Moreau River. I went a mile and a half downstream. I turned around a quarter mile short of the Missouri River because the water was too rapid and I wouldn't have been able to paddle back against it. And there's no way to portage around here because it's mud, it's muck, and I would probably sink up to my ankles. It's interesting how the bottom changes because at the ramp, the water was actually at least 4 inches higher than the very bottom of the ramp, depth-wise. Maybe 6 to 8 inches or more of concrete was underwater. Yet when I came downstream and I got past the halfway point, it got pretty shallow. So there were shoals that I've not encountered before. There was a pipeline that was partially exposed. I had to paddle over sideways to get past it. And I'm thinking that and other things that are lying on the bottom are probably backing the water up further upstream because here it's probably the lowest that I've seen it. The train bridge, which is in the corner here, looking at it, I would guess that that's probably 25 feet above water level. Now there was one time when I came here when I had to duck to get under it. And this ledge that's next to me, which is not on camera, this wall, this bluff, was well underwater. So yeah, I have seen, well, raccoon tracks right here next to me, 6 inches above the water on a rock ledge that normally would not be exposed. And for the raccoon to get there, it either swam and climbed onto it, or yeah, it would have to, because even if the water was higher, it had to swim to get to it. It's just a small ledge. And then up in front of me, some raccoon tracks. So yeah, that's the only company I had. I actually, that's a very small train that just went by. It's probably a service train. I have seen 2 bald eagles staying fairly distant. One of them was dark colored, it was probably a juvenile. One red-tailed hawk, and 2 birds that looked like they had to be big hawks, so they were probably osprey. They were far enough away that they were just circling. They did not have the coloring of an eagle, so I'm guessing they were osprey. It was hard to make out, but they were not eagles. And they were big. And I saw 1 kingfisher in a tree. So that's it. Kayaking, weather, wildlife. So, what's going on around here? Not a lot happening. You know what? When I did my January, I think 24th, I did not talk about my car. You know, my Chevy HHR I bought in 2007, February 28th, I think. So, 15 years ago. 173,000 miles. And I've been thinking about getting another car, and I thought, you know, there's a Ford Maverick that's out now. Now, some of you may remember it. There was a car called the Ford Maverick in the 70s. Well, this is a pickup truck, and they've used the name Maverick, and it comes with a 2-liter EcoBoost engine, or it comes with a hybrid. Yeah, a hybrid, and it gets 42 miles a gallon. That's how it's rated. And I decided, you know what, I like that. But I didn't find out about it till late September, and people were starting ordering it in June. They cut the hybrid order off in November, and even if I had ordered it then, I still would not have it. There are people who ordered in July are only just starting to get their vehicles. Or is it vehicles? Yeah. So I thought, well, you know what, next year. And you know, it's a good thing I didn't order it because my car died in December. Yeah, I would have been really ticked if that had happened and I had a vehicle ordered and I had to put money into it. So yeah, the engine died. Timing chain shot. Engine. So I thought, you know what? I know what I can get for $3,000 or $4,000, and so the heck with it. I'll spend that much to get a used engine that I'm sure I'll get a year out of, and I'll know what I have because I've done plenty of work on it. You know, and prior to that, over the years, I mean, 15 years, I paid less than $20,000 for it, I think, back in 2007, and I probably haven't put $4,000 into it before this. I had done an alternator, I had done some front suspension work and struts, front and back. I had to replace a fuel line. And when the throttle body went, yeah, it was like an $800 job. But you know what? That was, I'm sure it was because they cracked my oil cap. When I had an oil change the day before I went on the trip, and water got in my fuel, yeah, or in my cylinders. Screwed up the throttle body. But yeah, so 15 years, 173,000 miles. And Maverick is $2,000 for the base model, a hybrid. Can you believe that? Yeah. So, you know, to go up a couple levels to get options that I would want, it would probably be closer to 32. And I was hoping they would come up with an all-wheel drive, but it's not available as an all-wheel drive in the hybrid, which is kind of curious because it's on the Escape platform, and the Escape Hybrid comes in possible or all-wheel drive. But that would have jacked the price up another $2,000 to $3,000 probably. But anyway, orders are cut off, and they're not opening again until August for 2023. And some people might actually have to wait for 2023 to get their 2022s. Imagine that. Yeah. So, another year, I'll do something. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I'll miss this car. I drive a car for 15 years. I really like it. Yeah. You know, it was designed by the same guy that designed the PT Cruiser for Chrysler. Yeah, and I always like this better anyway. It looks more functional. The PT Cruiser I thought looked kind of gimmicky, you know. So yeah, mine's a retro look, but I like it better than the PT Cruiser. Well, I've been driving it for 15 years. Did I tell you that? I think I did. Okay, what else is going on? Nothing really. Poetry, I've talked about poetry before. Yes, probably all the time. I did a couple more open mics. I did one at Gumbo Bottoms with a handful of poets, and I did one at The Mission, which I may have mentioned that before. I did one back in September. It's an open mic that's open to anybody, spoken word. And that one I did in September, or whenever it was, I went on stage after a heavy metal band, so that was interesting. This time they went on after me, so it looks like there's regulars for this open mic. So yeah, I've done that. I mentioned that I did my micro chapbook was published, and that came out, and they did use one of my photos on it. I had a poem on there. It was a tanka, and I don't typically title tankas, but the editor said, you know what, everything is titled. This will give it some uniformity if we give it a title. And one of the lines is random harmonies. She said, so how about if we do that? I said, yeah, sure, okay, let's do that. And then it talks about chimes in that poem. Yeah. And the photo that she decided she wanted to use was chimes, handmade wind chimes that were hanging in a tree. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I've got about 10 poems out right now that I've submitted to different places. I think four different submissions, but they're like 10 poems, so I'm waiting to hear on those. And the wind wants to move me sideways. It's telling me it's time to quit. So I'm going to paddle back. There was one section that was fairly rapid. For this, I'm used to paddling on flat water here. So when I go back, I'm going to be paddling like crazy to get past that. Maybe right now you're looking at it because maybe I'll show that in a clip. So yeah, and like I said, I can't portage. You know, it's muck. I mean, okay, maybe I will. You know, maybe I'll be standing on the bottom. In less than a foot of water, I was hitting the bottom up there. All right, this has been your Mid-Missouri Kayak and Weather Report for February. 67 degrees. 2023. 2022. Ciao folks, and vlog on.